trade upon their early advantages and take a more decisive second game.
Yeah, most definitely. See whether they can really capitalize on leads early, because that's what they're going to need going into, you know, teams further up the ranks here. Of course, 11th and 12th on the leaderboard at the moment means that there's no one else really that is going to be this level of competition. Everyone's going to be challenging them even harder. The Caitlyn and Corki bands coming through yet again, but Lee Sin now on the bench, taken away by World Elite.
And we saw how much pressure Spirit was able to put on World Elite. It's surprising to see him banned on the blue side. But if we remember, Drizzle was able to make some excellent steals on Dragons with that champion. He's able to use that champion as well. So maybe taking it out of the champion pool, having a different flavor of junglers here between the two.
Yeah, and Spirit probably looking to take that one away from Drizzle as well in the last matchup and putting him on that Jarvan 4. But last ban to go over to Energy Pacemaker and World Elite, do you think that they're looking for potentially that Jarvan first pick to come through again? Because that might leave open the likes of the Gnar, the likes of Kassadin, who hasn't been banned away yet.
I expect World Elite, much like I believe EP did last series, to snap off and take that Jarvan if he's available, just because World Elite with Jarvan looks so much different to World Elite without Jarvan. When Spirit's able to cause that extra pressure, especially the insta-lock come out here, he can be really decisive and just steer his team to a victory on the Jarvan. But on other champions, he has a lot of difficulty communicating those engages, getting those clean engages. And Jarvan, he makes engagement easy.
Yep, and that is, of course, going to be the insta-lock. Amazing Jay and Drizzle now looking at the next two power picks on the list, you have to say, in that Janna and that Gnar, but Drizzle's still mixing it up just a little bit, and he's going to go with a Rengar pickup here, picking it away from Spirit, one of sort of the most high-class Rengar players in the world.
We're going to expect the jungle Jarvan coming out of Spirit, so of course, it's interesting to see him pick Rengar against Spirit, who is very experienced in that champion, will know the peaks of power and the troughs that the Rengar will have. So it's a bit of a gambit to pick it into him, but it makes a lot of sense here. If his lanes can avoid the early game fights, they can get through that early game, Rengar could be massive from level 6 onwards. But there is that time, that first 5 levels, where Jarvan gets super ahead, and maybe Rengar will never be able to get back into the matchup.
Yeah, and we'll see whether they can do that. But over on the other side, World Elite have locked in now that Jarvan Rumble combo. And Yujay actually going to be hopping on this Thresh now as well. So, my gosh, the engage potential in the mid-game fights are looking terrifying from World Elite. And Kane looking at a potential Tristana paired up with a Nami, maybe.
Well, no team was able to get a decisive pick comp last game. That's why we saw a lot of fights in the open where nobody was able to get a good engage. With Thresh, with Jarvan, they've got a go button right here. And we spent so much time across the world talking about Narvan. Rumble Jarvan, it's been around for what, 2-3 years now?
Yep.
Still very potent.
And the other fantastic thing coming through now, as the switchover happens to the Sivir, we've got the thrill of the On the Hunt, plus a big old Gnar, able to run very, very fast into the enemy team. Not to mention the fact that Nami's passive going to be able to move everyone a whole lot faster if she casts any of her spells on them. So this could be a really fast Amazing J, able to get into the ruckus and cause the fights that they want.
And I'll leave you to workshop a title to incorporate all those abilities in that wombo you're talking about there. The thrill of the On the Hunt is the start.
The thrill of the On the Gnar?
Well,
maybe.
We got some time. We're going to potentially have a very long game if the first game was any indication here. So I'll leave you to workshop some of those ideas.
Come back to me at the end of the game.
But that is quite this pair of picks on the World Elite side.
Yeah, and we've got a mid lane Ezreal potentially coming through, unless that's a mid lane Jinx. And if that was the case, then my whole brain may explode. But I like this pickup. Seeing Ezreal picked up by these Chinese teams, especially World Elite, is very, very exciting. But it's interesting. It's definitely an interesting pickup here, as Raphael now going to be on that LeBlanc, and the assassination potential on top of this Ezreal, I mean, can almost be instant. And it doesn't matter if you've got Arcane Shift if you're just dead in 3 spells.
And they required a blind pick mid there. That's where World Elite was at in terms of their comp. I would have expected the Jace, or one of the long-range champions that Ninja's more known for, but to go for a blind pick Ezreal, open them up to an assassin coming out from EP's side right there. So it makes sense to see the last pick LeBlanc. LeBlanc has been in the picks and bans of previous series, so it's surprising to see her come out of last pick, but very potent against Ezreal in lane.
Oh, most definitely. But once they get out of this laning phase, the thing that I'm looking at is the fact that if there's any scuffles that erupt on the map, that's double global ultimates to go straight into a cataclysm where there are members of the enemy team trapped. So that could be a fantastic utilization to come through with this Super Mega Death Rocket and, of course, the True Shot Barrage coming from that bottom and mid lane. If we get any of these mid-game fights after level 6s have been hit in the mid and bot, then things could be very, very scary here.
But quickly on the same token, a LeBlanc against potentially 2 effectively 80 carries in Ezreal and Jinx.
True.
If they can get the vision advantage here, World Elite, the picks could be very impressive.
It could certainly be impressive. And World Elite, I mean, they're looking to get the Narvan happening. I mean, the Jarvan, I'm used to saying Narvan. But let's get onto the Rift, ladies and gentlemen, and stop listening to me. And we are on to the Rift. Aluka wandering up here with his team, World Elite, and they're taking on Energy Pacemaker for the second time round here and looking to fight back and make this a 1-1. Only 1 point apiece going to come through from that tie. And setting up defensively this time around. Not scouting out any lane swaps. No exciting stuff, but Drizzle. They actually get caught.
He's standing up very aggressively here, so I think they're pinging on him here. I think they know he's there.
He's hanging out. UJ is he's looking for something. Oh my goodness, the max range death sentence to come through and follows the flash as well. But they're not going to go too much further. That was very exciting to watch, though. Bit of geometry.
It is a big, massive boon here because you've got Rengar, who's traditionally going to be on the back foot against Java in terms of early game jungling, early game pathing. Now doesn't even have flash available. So Spirit, he didn't need any invitation to go in aggressively to Drizzle's jungle last game. I expect that to be the same story this game as well.
Oh, Sugar also going to have to blow a flash here as well. Energy Pacemaker down 2 of those summoner spells very, very early, just with some nice rotational play from World Elite. Their early games have looked fantastic against what we could say is Energy Pacemaker's strongest suit.
Yeah, I mean, to have 2 flashes down at level 1 is huge for basically no investment whatsoever right here. Spirit must be licking his lips because he did so much with no resources last game in terms of just solely being intelligent in pathing and getting that early 3 buff. Now he has 2 members without flash to be preyed upon right here. Spirit on Jarvan, we've talked about how different World Elite look with that Jarvan pick. He's setting himself up to carry.
He certainly is yet again. And we know that World Elite likes to get a lot of farm onto this Spirit and see whether he can actually carry for himself. But on this Jarvan, he's looked to be a little bit more of that utility, trying to get the CC down for his team, be that tanky frontline, and see whether he can utilize that to better affect this game because it hasn't necessarily been working out in their favor. He's going to be able to steal away that blue buff for himself. And Ninja getting aggressive here on the mid.
Ninja's trying to use his level 2 advantage right here. The one thing you can say about Ezreal in lane is very safe. With that Arcane Shift in a short lane, so able to cover a lot of ground with the flash, with the Arcane Shift. In the early levels, before LeBlanc can start to get her combos going, he'll be able to poke her out with auto attacks, but there will reach a point in this laning phase where LeBlanc has significant pressure at doing over half, maybe 3/4 of Ezreal's maximum health in burst damage.
And Raphael taking a few auto attacks, of course. Having an AD in that mid lane does mean that the harass potential is going to be very high, and he has caused a little bit of a CS discrepancy as UJ taking a lot of damage from Kayn after he flays him back. STYZ wanting just to farm this lane out, but has the Jinx into the Sivir matchup here as well, so the range advantage very prevalent.
Yeah, the range advantage is very strong here. It's going to struggle. We haven't actually seen too much 2v2 laning between Jinx and Sivir, but Jinx is always considered a fairly smart pickup into Sivir just because she has a good time harassing her with rockets. You'll see here Kayn standing in the ranged minions. Whenever STYZ goes into rocket form, the splash damage from those rockets will hit Sivir and the backline. She's able to push and harass at the same time. It's why this matchup works very good for Jinx. Once she picks up a BF, so it just accentuates the matchup. Doesn't have quite the same wave clear, of course, at early levels between the Ricochet and the Bouncing Blade, but once she gets the BF sword and can clear those ranged minions in 1 or 2 rockets, that's when the laning phase goes well into Jinx's favor.
Yeah, and it's not until Kayn can really instantly clear those waves with a boomerang and a ricocheted shot that he's really going to come back into that one, because of course then won't actually have to hang around to that lane at all. Just clear it out and leave and everything would be fine. But STYZ is going to have a decent time because we know Jinx is this hyper carry, this monster in the late game, getting excited, running around these fights and really being a menace. And if he has a decent time early, things could be hard. But ooh, look at the Tidecaller's Blessing getting a nice trade down. in favor of Kane.
Well, STYZ is definitely the crown jewel in the World Elite's comp here, just because you look down the team comp right here, and remember to note the fact that it's amazing J on Na. If Na gets super tanky, but Kane's in trouble.
Kane could be in trouble here. Actually going to get caught by the Aqua Prison, as you can see. Oh my goodness, going to flash away from the boomerang there, as well as the zap comes in and causes a flash here from Kane. And STYZ, I mean, you can't go onto UJ here in the bottom lane because STYZ, he was auto-attacking that whole time.
Yeah, off camera there was actually the death sentence coming on to Kane right there. He fell very low, then almost got the answering kill onto UJ. So trades are plenty in the bot lane.
Oh, most definitely. Drizzle now trying to get up here in this jungle, getting himself to a nice position. Hasn't had his buff stolen or anything like that this time around.
It's actually surprising that he's having a better early game with his flash down on a jungler who does struggle early in a 1v1 skirmish, as does Rengar against Jarvan. But credit to Drizzle, he's trying to play aggressively, even in the face of all the advantages that Spirit was given by those 2 flashes being blown at level 1.
Oh, most definitely. And Spirit was looking to come in and get something going on, but not going to be a problem. And that was actually Drizzle stealing away the enemy Gromp here, so doing some counter jungling on this Rengar as he takes away this Scuttle Crab here as well.
In the mid lane.
Bunch of gold.
Yeah, still being able to stay competitive CS as Ninja right here. Ninja will struggle when they go back and purchase, because of course Ninja will go back, pick up probably a tier and maybe a pickaxe on top of that. So going to be mostly focusing on stacking up his power compared to LeBlanc, who'll get an instant power spike working towards a Morello Nomicon or an Athene's Unholy Grail. So once the shops come in, they're going to have to play far back as Ninja to stop being burst down, because he's stacking up that mana, doesn't have a lot of combat stats. But for now, while they're staying in lane, pretty competitive.
Oh, most definitely, and especially before any of those items have come in. And as you were mentioning, I mean, just a flask here on Raphael. I mean, he's not going to be doing all that much damage, but here could be the gank coming through. The knock-up coming onto Kane here as well, and he's in so much trouble. The Chompers are there as well, zoning him out, and STYZ picking up first blood.
Nowhere to go there for Kane. He didn't need to be in lane. It was overly aggressive position to stay in lane in that situation, and he falls. He tried to hold onto his spell shield to spell shield the death sentence, but so much CC available, even from just STYZ there. They pick up their kill, and if you look at the mini-map here, they're also holding the minion wave down bot. So while on the one hand that means that Sivir will enter lane with a item advantage, because of course STYZ won't be looking to shop at this point, this is going to be very difficult for the short-range Sivir to get back in and push up without potentially being ganked a second time.
Oh, and as it turns out, Kane didn't have enough money to actually purchase himself into that that item advantage situation. With
he would have really wanted the BF
back.
sword there for sure.
Most definitely. Might have been why he was hanging around there in lane, but having to go with this pickaxe and prolong that BF sword is going to be so detrimental here to someone who had a fantastic game on Sivir last game. It's just not looking like the same situation this time around.
And we can see Kane has to hang around the back right here, holding the wave very intelligently, STYZ and UJ. In the bottom lane.
Whoa.
And with 500 range, it's definitely not a Caitlyn. She's just using the boomerang blade to kill one creep, hoping that she can push it into the World Elite turret.
Not quite managing to get there. STYZ going to take a few ricochets. We're not going to worry about it too much. Sitting on some potions here as well. And Ninja opting to go for that tier, deciding to build a Phage second. So we could be seeing sort of the Mura mana into that Trinity Force build that has been coming out quite a lot here in China.
And even if he's not committing to the Trinity Force, picking up the Ruby Crystal makes sense, because at least he has 150 health to deal with the all-in combos coming out from Raphael. So much difference, a tier and a Ruby Crystal against the component parts of a Morello Nomicon right here. The burst potential is real, and look, if that 150 health gets him through one trade, as we see a successful poke of damage does about maybe a third of his life right there, it's when the On the Hunt is combined with those chains that he really has to worry.
Oh, most definitely. UJ can steal away a creep here in this bottom side, but at the moment, not too much going on as Drizzle's trying to come through and mix things up potentially. Has hit level 7. Thrill of the Hunt is available here. And there is, of course, Tidal Wave possible as well by Shu, who I believe actually only level 4. So not going to be coming through in the next little while. Spirit's here for the counter gank, though. And Drizzle hanging very far back, but he can get in amongst it if he wants to, because of course that Thrill of the Hunt giving you that stealth. You can get there if you need to, but just going to go back to his jungle and continue farming up.
Would have actually been a very advantageous 4v4 if we saw the teleports come in, because you look up the top here, we can see that Na's ultimate is on cooldown right here. Didn't have the rage from Mega Na either, so it would have been a significant win from World Elite. So credit to EP. They backed off. They thought, all right, the lane's not in a good spot to push in right here. The dive would have been too aggressive, so they backed away, and they'll be happy that they made that decision.
Yeah, reaping the rewards, of course. Wasting a bit of Spirit's time as well, as now he's going to head over and pick up his red buff. Drizzle taking a lot of damage from the True Shot Barrage, but Raphael easily able to pick that blue buff up for himself, and Ninja did manage to get his own.
And Ninja, a bit of Faker flavor right there, trying to get the steal with that global ultimate. Wasn't quite able to, as we see Ninja now has the blue buff. Now Raphael did take that blue buff, and Ninja, his blue buff's about to expire. Going to go back, pick up a few more items to have a bit more laning pressure.
Yeah, almost is going to be able to finish off that Manamune. You can see the pickaxe has been brought up alongside the Tear and Ruby Crystal, but very even is the CS in this lane, and you have to say now that level 8, level 9 going to be coming through very soon here for Raphael. He's going to have a lot of kill potential on this Ezreal with max points in potentially that distortion.
And I want to see EP start to play aggressive here, just because Raphael can hold the wave and zone Ninja with the threat of his burst damage, but can also use that Mimic Distortion and instantly push the minion wave. So because he has the pushing advantage, Ninja only really has AoE from his ultimate, which is up even with cooldown reduction and his passive up every maybe 60 seconds. Use that time to push in aggressively, get a really good on the hunt, so get a really good Rengar ultimate come through, and get some picks. They have a lot of pick potential right here. They don't necessarily have the pink wards, and they haven't got the aggressive wards maybe to supplement that, but this is a point in the game where with that significant wave pushing advantage, they should be roaming and picking up kills and objectives.
Yeah, and this dragon hasn't been really looked at here at this part of the game. Of course, 11.5 minutes in, this is when that objective starts to become a thing that people look at, but hasn't really been what they want at this stage. Spirit going to pop a pink ward into this top side, has managed to successfully sneak his way in. Amazing J going to transform very, very soon. Maybe not when Spirit really wants to be engaging, but once that wears off, it might be a time. Oh, there's the equalizer to come through as well. Amazing J very tanky at this stage, but oh my goodness, the Nah just to get him out of it. The knock-up not going to come through from Spirit here as well, but that's a lot of damage, and the persistent slow from the red buff there as well. They want to dive this one. True Shot Barrage to come around. Oh my gosh. Spirit having to flash out from under the turret, but a nice pick up here from World Elite, but trading it for a dragon.
Trading 2 members and the Ezreal ultimate for 1 kill and losing a dragon is a big win here for EP. They also know that cooldown's available, so if Raphael chooses to push in, they'll have significant roam advantage. We already see Rengar walking aggressively into the WE jungle right here. He knows that he last saw Spirit up top. He knows that Ezreal has no wave pushing left. Rengar can do whatever he wants now.
He most certainly can. And look at this CS advantage here on the bottom side as well. 103 to 79. And that is just ridiculous coming through here, because this Jinx is going to be gigantic in the later stages of the game if they can stop her from getting jumped on by these hunting members. And
part of that is just from the lane matchup. Of course, this does go further and further in Jinx's advantage as the lane goes on. But I think more importantly, we should compliment STYZ and UJ for laning very smartly here. From the moment they picked up that kill on Sivir, they've been holding this wave next to their turret as much as possible. And the 500 range Sivir's had to use her mana pool very inefficiently just to start getting the lane to push in, just to hope for it to start hitting that turret and reset. So smart lane mechanics from World Elite here have really set up a smart and a good early game.
Oh, actually, Spirit's found Amazing J yet again. They are really camping him out. There's the knock-up to come through as well. Has turned into Mega Gnar, but the wallop's not going to be enough, and Spirit picks up yet another kill.
Yeah, just trying to ward right there, but picked off a second time. Is overextending a lot in the top lane, and this time there's no objective to pick up. But Raphael, Ninja's in trouble.
He is certainly in trouble. The flash not going to be enough. Ooh, the ignite ticking down. Ninja not even going to be using his barrier here, so not too worried.
Ninja's actually been very good at holding onto those summoner spells, but Rengar right there, Throw the Hunt's been popped.
Yeah, it's been popped. He's going to walk over a ward, though. Spirit knows exactly where he is. Flag and drag to safety coming through from Jarvan, and they're just going to clear out this really pesky ward that ruined Drizzle's day.
And with the lane matchup we've talked about a few times here, with the pushing advantage that EP has, the On the Hunt being on cooldown for Drizzle at this point is a massive advantage for World Elite right here, as it just relieves pressure from their lanes that should be there from this LeBlanc-Rengar invasion combo.
Yeah, of course. Thrill of the Hunt and On the Hunt having very confusing and frustrating names. Blue buff going to be started off here yet again. And Ninja going to be picking that one up, but True Shot Barrage now available once more. Can offer that global pressure. Has been trying to throw these around to get fights moving in the right directions, but hasn't quite managed to. But did get himself... No, actually hasn't managed to get himself an assist just yet.
Yeah, and we see Drizzle and Zhu are pushing very aggressively, and they're trying to get some wards down to translate that mid lane matchup advantage into wards in the Ward Elite jungle right here. Only the single ward here, so definitely not a lot of not a lot of wards available for now. We've seen Nami just backed. I believe her Sightstone was completely out of wards. So while that was a smart map movement, not being able to get the ward coverage to pay off the matchup advantage they have in the mid lane.
Yeah, cool fadeaway jump shot coming through from STYZ as he heads back on that Dark Passage. Does have the Infinity Edge completed here for this Jinx. Kane went back, finished off some Berserker's Greaves, so wanting to get a little bit of extra attack speed and maybe just spend his money in any way that he can.
Absolutely, trying to get as many combat stats as possible to deal with this Jinx, but of course a massive item trough is the components of the Infinity Edge against a completed Infinity Edge. We're still on patch 4.21, still 25% crit available on that item right there. And while Jinx loves move speed, with that passive, they can pick up that first kill from a lucky crit. The passive will negate any movement speed available from the Berserker's Greaves.
Yeah, and crit is just exponentially better on Jinx as well, just because you can crit in an AoE on those rockets, which can really devastate a clumped up team fight. And when you've got the likes of Jarvan on your side, clumped up is what people are going to be.
Absolutely, that's where Jinx shines, of course, with that AoE damage to complement the equalizer that's going to be coming through from Aluka right here. There's a lot of nice synergy on this World Elite comp. They just have to really try and help out Ninja in the mid lane. There's not much a blind pick Ezreal can do when he's counter-picked by that LeBlanc.
Oh, most definitely. And with this LeBlanc available as well, I mean, has often spent time on the ban list. I mean, Ninja could have picked that one up for himself if he wanted to, but letting it go into the hands of Raphael, and Raphael had a decent game so far, but still 0-0-0. Really needs to start making his mark, of course. Has a decent spike now that Morellonomicon's finished up, as well as that needlessly large rod. Aluka now in a bit of trouble as Drizzle comes and checks the brush. Oh, there's the bowler strike coming through as well and gets locked down on top of the equalizer. It's oh my goodness, the into the wall. No problem at all.
And actually used his flash there, did Aluka. Unfortunately, thought he could escape the last bit of burst damage, but he takes it down, doesn't have his flash available right here. So a successful game for Drizzle, but Spirit's trying in the mid lane.
Yeah, tries to get a flag and drag, and I want to apologize for that terrible rhyme. That was not intentional. And the Haunting guy is going to be finished up here by Aluka as well. Has an amplifying tome there as well, so do you think that he might be going for a Leandri's Torment sort of rush here?
I guess it could be. We do see that coming out from time to time against health stacking teams. It might just be that he wants that very early power spike to come out right there with not that much magic resist itemized outside of his laning opponent. But there's many different ways you can go with these builds. It might just be that he doesn't realistically think he's going to be able to finish a big buy like Needless Large Rod anytime soon. So cost-effective stats still a good thing.
Yep, trying to get as much power now as he can as he loses his top outer turret here as well. As Energy Pacemaker really start to put the pressure on. Not too much of a lead when it comes to gold, and Dragon about to pop back up yet again. Oh, Super Mega Death Rocket just going to go wide as Kane going to check out this Gromp, but Spirit's going to be able to secure that one, and Kane not having the game that he really wants this time. True Shot Barrage is going to take half of the health of Raphael and then head through the Nexus. Nice aim, nice aim. That is not how you destroy a Nexus, though. Someone should probably let Ninja know so he doesn't keep doing that.
Kane had to use his flash there as well, but Drizzle's in trouble.
Drizzle is in trouble. Look at that. The box coming through here as well. Drizzle's going to die. STYZ picks up another kill. Raphael is just getting eliminated here as he tries to head back to his turret. Amazing J going to teleport in and try and help out his team, but my gosh, STYZ is really starting to get going. Amazing J with a fair bit of rage has been built up. You can see now that World Elite is starting to group around this Rumble. Does have that equalizer as well. A lot of respect needed to be gained from Energy Pacemaker.
Yeah, they're just going under the fight, but the fight's on.
Yeah, there's the Gnar actually throwing them back into that turret. Amazing J way in amongst it. Ninja's going to die almost immediately. Raphael's going to fall as well. STYZ trying to kite the zap on top of Amazing J, but he finds himself all alone. Spirit actually back in base here as Kane takes down the Rumble, and Aluka not able to get that equalizer down at the right spot yet again.
The difference between a fight where Amazing J is able to initiate on this Gnar and influence and zone control against a fight where Spirit's able to initiate is cataclysmic right here. Bad pun not intended. Because the main issue right here is that when Amazing J is in front of STYZ, giving him no one to auto-attack other than the super tanky Gnar, he cannot do the damage to bust through him just yet. He's still, of course, at the 1.5 item point right here. So that's the big difference right there. It's all about Jarvan getting the initiation or Amazing J with that Gnar transformation. Oh. And we send both sides of that coin.
Yep, speaking of both sides of the coin, that is going to be Kayn very much dead in the bottom lane. Spirit just flanking really nicely, and I think Kayn just wanting to get that out of turret, but not quite being able to.
I mean, that's the second time that Kayn's been caught in a very advanced position in lane with no real necessity in this series, so he needs to watch that positioning. It's not like they had the defensive wards to justify the positioning whatsoever. There's 3 pink wards around this bottom lane right here, and STYZ 4-0-0. It was his carry on Ezreal that got them their first win, and he's well on the way to doing that again here.
Yeah, and look at them protecting this Jinx so much. All of the vision that is around where this Jinx is right now is insane. Wanting to steal away this blue buff now as well as Drizzle's going to come around, see what's going on. Oh, smites it to 50 health. And STYZ just says thank you. Spirit going to flag and drag his way away, but Tidal Wave not going to quite find its mark as Zap's just going to be used as a little bit of a zoning tool. Ninja going to be clearing out these Raptors, and Energy Pacemaker unable to find anything.
Luke is going to be able to grow his CS advantage up the top lane here. He has the teleport advantages. We saw the defensive teleport come out from Amazing J earlier right here. Rumble's not the best champion at taking turrets, but he is able to get onto this top turret right here. But we'll see Amazing J matching him up top, but not having that teleport.
Yeah, both of our mid laners here, Ninja and Raphael, very, very even. Oh, as Tencent actually comes onto Shu here, the box is down as well, but Shu is a very squishy little fish that actually manages to escape somehow for a little while. Aqua Prison is going to lock up both members of World Elite. They probably thought that wasn't going to happen, but all the Equalizer is going to get flashed out of the way of, and there's a really nice Cataclysm there as well. Kayn gets locked up. He's dead once again, but manages to trade it as Raphael picks up the kill there onto Spirit. That is going to mean the outer turret here for World Elite, though.
Yeah, the CC of the Equalizer was actually very important there. It allowed Spirit to close the distance. He didn't have Flash available, so they couldn't hold that cooldown and have the Flash Cataclysm into Equalizer combination. They only pick up the 1 kill, but it might actually be the 2 turrets in trade.
Yeah, Amazing J coming through here. Doesn't have a lot of rage. Not going to be Mega Gnar at any time soon, and cops a couple of skill shots to the face. But easily going to be able to take down that inner turret as well.
Yeah, 2,500 gold lead world leads grown, mostly from those 2 turret pickups. It was very even before that point. Amazing J, he needs to get to the point where he can soak this Jinx's damage, but you have to feel like STYZ's items are definitely outpacing the armor pickups coming from Amazing J. He had to go for the magic resist to deal with the double AP comp. The AP from the Rumble, and of course the magic damage is going to be coming out from the Iceborne Gauntlet when it's completed by Ninja. But it just doesn't make him tanky when it comes to STYZ. The 5-0-0 Jinx is going to rip through this front line.
Yeah, and Amazing J really itemizing for sort of his one lane opponent here so far. So not having quite the synergy with item builders he had in the last game with that double AP threat coming through.
It was definitely easier for the 1 item, 2 item defensive choices in the previous game against double AP. There's still a lot of magic damage coming out from Ninja, so the magic resist will help him there.
Yeah, true.
But he wants the Randuins right now because Jinx 5-0-0, that's where the bulk of the damage is going to be coming from World Elite.
Yeah, Amazing J is going to have that Banshee's Veil available though, so that's going to help him out irrespective. Definitely a good pickup at Ninja Tabi and Giant's Belt. So almost getting towards that Randuin's. Ninja now going to be trying to clear out this mid wave. Does have True Shot Barrage available yet again. Oh, UJ taking so much damage as the wave clear is going to come through from Ninja.
I think it's worth noting here that Ninja is up in CS on Raphael right here, so he hasn't been able to be zoned off the creeps despite lacking that AoE. And in terms of invasions, we haven't seen Raphael and Drizzle get those LeBlanc Rengar picks that we were thinking they could in the mid game. They had the waves in good spots, but they never had the synergy for the engage. And look, as the late game comes, the Trinity Force is completed in one big hit here. This Ezreal has hit a power spike of his own.
Yeah, it's ridiculous as well. That Muramana transform just came in at almost the same time as getting that Trinity Force. This is a huge Ezreal right at this moment, and it has been answered by a death cap on the side of Raphael, so he has a lot of ability power. But you have to think that World Elite looking to skirmish now, looking to make their mark.
Yeah, it looks like he was deciding between the flavor of the blue Ezreal and the Trinity Force Ezreal that Faker's been going for a bit more often right here. It doesn't give him the same control as the Iceborne Golem, but the poke's going to be really, really powerful. And he has a lot of AoE CC between Thresh and Jarvan, so he can actually go for the more carrier-orientated damage build and not pay for it in terms of zone control.
Most definitely. Does have that Vampire accepted there as well, so going to be able to keep himself a little bit more healthy. And World Elite now rotating down to this inner turret in the bottom lane. And they may have made a positive move because they've managed to get Jinx here free hitting this turret. Now the Essence Flux is over the top here as well. True Shot Barrage going to try and stop the split push, but not going to be able to, as Raphael's just going to die instantly. Kayn now trying to turn it around, but it's going to be very difficult. Shu lands a nice bubble there. The 4-man Gnar as well coming through from Amazing J. But they don't care because World Elite are just so strong right now. Amazing J takes a rocket to the back of the head there as well. But thankfully he's quite tanky. Manages to make it to safety. But no member of World Elite are dead. And that was one of the best Gnars I've ever seen.
Yeah, the Gnar was massive from Amazing J. But the issue there was that Kayn was completely zoned from the fight. He was just looking for a max range bouncing blade to be able to do any damage whatsoever, because with the 500 range, when he didn't have the tank in front of him, when it's a messy fight in the jungle, he just couldn't get any auto attacks on that short range Sivir, couldn't influence the fight, and despite the excellent tank work, no damage to support him whatsoever.
Yeah, they do trade an outer turret in the mid lane there for the first dragon for World Elite. Of course, Energy Pacemaker with decent dragon control this game, but going to give away that first one. So a big spike here in damage. That 6% meaning a whole lot more now that we are 26 minutes into this game. But Leandra's Torment now finished off by Aluka on top of the Zhonya's Hourglass. And Mercury's Tread's now finished here for Ninja. So he's not going to get locked down at all. And that Arcane Shift going to be up quite a lot as well.
And between Ninja and STYZ, they have the poke and the team fight damage completely ironed up right here to World Elite. Aluka in top lane. Looks like he might have overextended a bit though. There's 3 members here, but kind of split on whether they want to engage or not.
Yeah, they're actually Energy Pacemaker going to back off here. They had an opportunity to aggress onto Aluka, but they saw everyone coming up from behind them, deciding not to go on it, and seems like they may have been out-rotated. This tower's definitely dead.
Yeah, I think it would have been a suicide mission to go in once they saw the backup coming so quickly, but now they're so hopelessly out-rotated, there's not really much they can do. They lose a turret instantly, and of course, World Elite are lucky in that they have a minion wave in the bottom lane, but EP's winning is going to slow push right here. They might lose objective.
Yeah, Thrill of the Hunt's coming through. There's a nice tidal wave there as well, answered by an equalizer over the top. Spirit has to be very careful as Kayn takes him down. Amazing J, though, is getting torn apart. STYZ is so low, and he's going to die to Raphael, who's, I think it was actually the MVP, Krug, taking him down, as Raphael was all the way out the backside, but Ninja trying to now turn it back around. True Shot Barrage not going to find its mark here as well. And it looks like both teams going to be backing away, but nice fight for NG Pacemaker this time around.
Absolutely. They pick up 2 kills right here, and they have a massive minion wave pushing into the bottom lane. In the last game of this series, you could say that it was EP's minion wave control that really caused them to suffer, but Ninja's still going.
Yeah, Shu, you are definitely dead. Nice death sentence onto Drizzle as well to stop Ninja from taking that one. Oh, Kayn with a giant crit to the face. He's easily going to be able to take him down, and Drizzle now has to be very careful because he is getting burnt. The death sentence is there, and that is such an aptly named skill in the hands of UJ.
Yeah, worth noting that LeBlanc was able to split push the bottom turret with the help of all the large minion wave right there. EP's minion wave control has been a lot better this game than the previous series. That's why it took them so long to close out that game. They did have a big minion wave pushing in bot. If it had been the other way, if it had been World Elite with the strong minion wave push in bot, it would have been a lot more turrets lost there. So smart play from EP. They do pick up a decent trade at the end right there, but the trade of kills, World Elite's teamfight carries are just going to get stronger.
Oh, most definitely. Kayn has equalized the items here as far as the AD carries are concerned. Has caught back up in that farm as well. Is it a little bit of a gold discrepancy, but still has a lot of power on this Sivir, and that on the hunt very important, and has been what has allowed Energy Pacemaker to get back through into this one. But you have to think STYZ got caught out a little bit just there, but you can imagine probably not going to be happening too much just because UJ is there. He can help peel everyone off, but a different build coming through in comparison to what Deft built up earlier on.
Yeah, there is the slightly difference in the build right here. What I want to focus on, though, is that it is a Sivir here, and we often talk about how Sivir can't bust through frontline tanks. You look down the World Elite Team comp, they have a jungle tank in terms of Spirit. He has the Randuins, but it is a Rumble top. It isn't the same flavor of Gnar Jarvan. From the Narvan combo, for example, Sivir would really struggle to break through. But if they can get through Spirit, if they can burst through him here, this Sivir is still going to be doing very relevant team fight damage, even compared to a Jinx, because it isn't the true double tank coming out of World Elite.
Yeah, and a little bit short range as well. And I mean, if Kayn can manage to dodge out of that equalizer, there's not too much more Rumble can do as far as getting on top of him from a surprising distance. Oh, STYs are going to take a lot of damage from that QR combo from Raphael.
But I mean, the issue there is that, you know, it's a one-tank comp. Once that tank falls down, you got two very squishy, and the AD carry and mid lane are very, very squishy here. They're very maneuverable, especially the Ezreal. But I mean, the Jinx is going to be in the back lane. They're going to have Thresh peeling for him. So because they have such low stats right there, if they can get through Spirit, World Elite basically have to kite backwards. They have no other team fight CC or control if that Jarvan falls down very quickly. So it's going to be all about Spirit really focusing on shutting down Kayn, because if he can't, World Elite going to struggle to do that.
Oh, most definitely. And if Kayn's on point with his spell shields as well, he can block out the potential knock-up to come through, and doesn't have his flash at this stage, so World Elite have an opportunity to lock him in that Cataclysm if they can.
On the hunt has been popped here, but no team fight found by Drizzle.
Yeah, Zap actually going to land onto Amazing J, but he's transforming into the Mega Nut, wants to get amongst it. Look at the on the hunt movement speed coming through. Now Luca is going to be the golden flamethrower here, gets caught by an Aqua Prison though. Raphael getting a lot of damage. The Gnar not getting any stuns, but a lot of damage coming through. World Elite now trying to turn this one around. SCYZ, he's excited. That's a double kill so far. Raphael's in a lot of trouble. Triple kill now for SCYZ, wanting to make it that quadra. Shoe's going to fall down. The quadra kill now, and Drizzle, you have to get the heck out or you could be pented, my friend.
So much damage coming out from STYZ. He has the same 80 carry items, but once you get excited, you're always in position to do more damage there. He just completely went through that front line right here. They're able to have 4 members strong take down this Baron. And EP, they looked wonderful last game, but they're struggling this one.
They certainly are. And that Gnar just not getting any stuns was just such a big deal in that fight as well. You saw everyone got thrown back, took a bit of damage, but wasn't the CC that they needed in that fight. And that just allowed STYZ to shoot off his rockets, get a super mega death rocket to the back of the head of Kayn. And that was all she wrote.
There's so little AoE damage coming out from EP that although it was a setup ultimate into, say, an equalizer or some sort of Orianna Shockwave, none of those abilities are available for EP. They have a lot of single target damage barring Kayn's AoE. So the setup was nice if there was AoE to complement it, but in that case, just served no purpose.
Yeah, ultimates are just about to come back up for both teams here. Thrill of the Hunt is available here for Drizzle. And Kayn looking at that on the hunt very soon, but World Elite going to start off this Dragon. You can see it's just getting torn apart. An extra BF sword now being picked up by STYZ. He's going to have that Bloodthirster very soon. 9-1-1 now on this Jinx. That is a ridiculously large score for a hyper carry here as we're heading into this late game.
He even has that insurance against getting picked off by the LeBlanc with a bit of magic resistant health. So he's got the defensive options. I mean, the offense we saw already was very impressive without that BF sword completed. And under a turret here, they have so much ranged poke and very quick turret damage. They just need to make sure they don't get engaged upon, but World Elite, they should be able to take their first inhibitor turret here.
Yep, unfortunately World Elite with a large minion wave to potentially deal with in that bottom side, so this is on a timer a little bit, but having the Baron buff definitely helping them. Look at the ricochet damage coming through from Kayn though. He has a lot of items as well, and World Elite getting ripped apart a little bit.
World Elite are backing off. They're hoping that they're going to have this grouped minion wave up top push in, but Gnar is going to respond to it first. They have a big minion wave from EP pushing down the bottom lane here, so EP's minion wave control actually being quite respectable this game after struggling with that in the previous game when it came to closing things out. World Elite reset, and I guess we're going to have to wait for the next big objective to come out to see the next big team fight.
Yeah, Baron and Dragon were taken relatively recently as Baron wore off. That spelled WE's retreat. But is it going to be the same thing as last game, but the other way around? Because it's what it's looking like here. World Elite not quite being really sure of the moves that they want to make, but you have to say, Energy Pacemaker have looked great in a lot of these fights regardless. I mean, the last one not so good because the Gnar wasn't in a great position, but as soon as Amazing J's on form, he has to be respected.
Well, it was Energy Pacemaker's lack of sidewave control that drew out that last game about 10 minutes more than it needed to go. So that's why, with them behind, I thought, all right, World Elite will be able to close out this game much faster because they showed better adaptations at controlling those sideways. But this game has actually been EP that have been on top of the sidewave control, so it's delaying the game again here. It's not the same one-sided game. We're only 4,000, 4,500 gold for World Elite right here. But you have to think that any fight is going to go in the advantage, well, just because of how strong this Jinx is. But look, if Spirit goes in too hastily, if he's caught out and dies instantly, you still have to remember a very squishy comp coming out of World Elite.
Speaking of Spirit being in trouble, gets caught by a 1-2 punch here from Raphael and takes most of his health. And if it's important to have this Jarvan healthy, this has to be when Energy Pacemaker wants to go through. The Hunt's being popped. There's the box for a zoning tool. The Equalizer to come through over the top of it. Drizzle takes a lot of damage. Super Mega Death Rocket not going to quite get the kill. Everyone flashing on STYZ. There's the Nah right into the wall. Ninja's here with a lot of damage as well. And World Elite, they're just too far ahead of this stage. STYZ managing to get the damage down. He wants to move on. Gets excited. Triple kill though for Ninja. This Ezreal looking huge as well, as Aqua Prison's going to be used from Shu just to try and get a Luca out of here, but this Nami's not going to stop this push.
World Elite did a wonderful job of kiting backwards right there. I really feared for them after Spirit had been poked down so much, but the damage from STYZ and Ninja cannot be ignored. The tanks did eventually get on that backline, but they took so much poke damage coming in, and the focus fire from STYZ did far, far too much damage, and they're going to pay a hefty price in terms of objectives here.
Yeah, they are, and you were talking about World Elite having better sidewave control. Look at all of the minions piling onto that inhibitor, easily able to take off that inhibitor turret, and minions from everywhere coming around. That True Shot Barrage can be used to such great effect to kill off those minions from anywhere on the map.
And it's something that World Elite have shown pretty good use of, the sidewave control on this map, and just something that EP have really struggled with. They showed a bit of adaptation in this second series, but they really need to review the tape of that first game and see how much global pressure was lost from poor sidewave minion control.
Yeah, but you do have the Thornmail completed from Spirit. He's going to be able to take almost no damage from Kayn and Amazing J as the replay comes through.
So we see the replay that the On the Hunt and the Through the Hunt are both popped very early right here, and this is where I thought World Elite's comp would fall down, but there's so much frontline damage that, look, Amazing J gets a huge double now on the absolute priority targets, STYZ and Ninja, but they both live. They're both able to continue to kite backwards. And I guess the key to that fight was that STYZ got the first Get Excited prop very early in that fight, was able to open up space consistently, and despite being a no-escape AD carry, was able to escape very, very nicely in that fight.
Yeah, it was beautiful to see. Blade of the Rune King's now been finished up by Ninja, has a pickaxe as well, wants to complete that last Whisper. And he's going to be very, very scary. 5, 2, and 10. We've been talking a lot about STYZ, but there's 2 AD carries in this game, and Ninja has been doing a respectable job on this mid Ezreal in a difficult matchup. And this open inhibitor now under fire from World Elite.
They don't have the minion pressure on either side lanes. It's going to be they're opting into a fight here if EP are willing to commit.
Yeah, Raphael coming through, trying to get some poke damage. Luca takes a lot of his health, but has to be traded here from Raphael. Jinx gets excited as he takes down that inhibitor as well. And with Baron up in a minute, 48 seconds on that Dragon as well, you have to say this is great timing to take down one of those objectives.
Yeah, maybe too much respect coming from EP there. I guess they understood that if they lost their fight, they would have lost the game. But with the side waves as they are, they have so much global gold pushing into the World Elite side right there. We saw the trimming coming out with the ultimate right there, the True Shot Barrage, but still the minion wave pushing in the advantage of EP.
Yeah, unable to really kill off these creeps. And caster creeps, not a lot of them get attacked as well, so they can be on any health and they're still going to be pushing that wave out for you. But you can see World Elite now backing off, trying to reconsolidate and recontrol these waves. Baron up in 20 seconds, and Energy Pacemaker making a desperate camp maneuver, as you can see in this blue side brush through. All the Hunt's been popped. There's On the Hunt as well. And World Elite may be trapped. It's a beautiful box. Look at the Equalizer to come in as well. The Golden Flamethrower is doing so much work. The Nah onto every member. Is it going to be enough? Amazing J is getting torn to shreds in this fight. STYZ's fallen down, but Ninja's available. Raphael's going to fall down as well. And this may spell the end of the game for World Elite.
We may have had some choice words for Lucas Rumble previously, but you cannot mess up such a massive equalizer in a choke like that. burnt down the whole team, did the equalizer right there. And Ninja, he's on this Ezreal. Even though he hasn't gone the blue Ezreal build, he's got double buffs. He's so maneuverable. And the damage he was doing in that fight, they zerged down SDYZ, but they couldn't ignore Ninja, and that's going to be the game.
And that's what happens when you decide to pick up 280 carries. There is extra consistent damage in that backline doing a whole lot of work for your team, and Ninja just picking up that mantle in the last team fight. It was a beautiful gnaw yet again from Amazing J. Had a great game, but just wasn't enough, and World Elite managed to pick up a win. So we're trading 1-1.
It's 1-for-1. It doesn't really help any of the teams when it comes to getting those ladder points, but it does give them both a bit of confidence moving into their next series. A lot of credit has to be given to Spirit there, although his score won't necessarily reflect it. He had to take on the mantle of sole tank in that game to go in the front, knowing that if he was ripped through, his AD carries would be exposed and the team fights would have gone oh so different. So very nice tank play coming out from Spirit. We're going to see a replay here just to get an idea of some of the fights in this game. So we're going to roll the clip here, 30-44 into the game. Game's still pretty even here, only 2,000 gold is the advantage. Already Thrill of the Hunt have been popped and disengaged from right here. The focus fire comes onto Amazing J, and the equalizer here doesn't do a lot. It splits the team, but they're still fighting as a team at EP right here. So it's a long, drawn-out poke fight right here before Amazing J commits, and that's the issue right there. He uses the ultimate into open space with no AoE whatsoever to complement that damage. SDYZ and Ninja are still able to free hit the back right here. Spirit and UJ fighting around the tanks right there, and the exit kills with all the mobility, with the resets on that get excited. Jinx and Ezreal able to clean up that fight just because they couldn't get that wall stun. And that was significant. The Gnar never got the dream wall stun until the item snowball was really too much for EP to get back into that game.
Yeah, you have to say it was that last team fight where they really managed to get all that CC down from that Gnar. But as you mentioned, not meaning too much here as far as the standings are concerned. 1-1, so still 11th and 12th place. A little bit unfortunate, but we are going to go towards our next matchup very, very soon. It's between Invictus Gaming and LGD. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere.